This is the world of company secretaries. On this channel, you can watch interviews with company secretaries across the world. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon. So, what made you decide to go to practice? Because this is 1995, it was definitely more prevalent for people to get into employment, and being in Mumbai, there were enough and more opportunities for employment. So, how did you decide that, okay, let's go to practice? That must have been a very brave decision. In 2020, it might not be a very difficult decision, but in 95, I'm sure it was a quite challenging decision. How did you make that decision?
Actually, I'm coming from a entrepreneur, businessman family background. I never thought of doing something like employment or something. That was not in my mind. And during my articleship, fortunately, with the support of my husband, of course, he suggested a lot of things. We were discussing all the time that what should be I should be doing, and I was very determined, very much in discipline, and very dedicated to my work. I always wanted to create something, to do something better in life, and my father was a firm believer that you choose the career not as per the reward what you are going to get, but choose the career what you like to do. So that's how my sister and I also choose the career which we wanted. So again, my father's that he was no more there, but always his words were inspiring me, and I thought I will choose what I wanted. I wanted a freedom for work. I could not follow anybody's orders. That was my nature. I don't like to. I like to go with the free flow and kind of my own passion, and never a career oriented as an employee. And I always wanted to get recognized and build some personal brand. And me and my husband took a joint decision with the three more consciously taking a decision. First was my independence and freedom was very dear to me, and I wanted to work independently. Second, I started my career very late. After when I was 30, I started my practice honestly in 1995. So there was a 5 year gap, and all were, I mean, with me, whoever was there, they either dropped out, they could not complete because that time CS, I think passing was only 1 or 2%. So it was many of my friends who started along with me, they could not complete, and I completed. That was little helping me to just take that I can do it. And 5 year gap was also there. My son was young, and we had a bungalow. So we thought, let's start a practice only, and if nothing, then after 1 year let's try and give time. And that's how I started my practice.
Okay. So I think it was in your case, like you said, your father words, and one thing which you said is you wanted to be independent and your freedom was very dear, and you were quite confident to take up practice.
See,
Okay,
if
you
you are
took up
if you
practice.
are free and independent, no, you can do and you choose your work. Whereas in employment, you can't choose your work. Whatever is given to you, and then it's slowly. By the time I thought I'm already aging and I should start if I want to independently. If young people will start, they may take 1 or 2 years or 4 years in job, and then they can start. But in my case, it was little different. And with the son being so young, I wanted to be around him. And I mean, I'll tell you in my 35th SMTP batch, that was 35th SMTP, that is Secretary Modular Training Practice.
Yes.
So that time we were around 30 members or 30 CS completed. And it was only always after you're completing all professional exams also. And out of that 20 people, I was the only one who was going in employment. Everybody wanted to go in job. So once I thought also that, am I doing something wrong? But then I
So
stick to.
everyone wanted to go for employment and you wanted to get into practice. Okay.
Yes, yes. It was like very challenging to decide that how should I approach people? There is no connection. I don't know anybody, no networking, no social media, no my mentor or my father is around, and nobody professional in the family, no visibility. I mean, and the very strict institute guidelines about not to advertise, not to put. So
Correct.
how am I visible? That was the question, that how I will be visible. But then also I thought I'll just first try, I'll jump into practice, then again employment is always there, I thought of. And that's how I gave first option. And also my mind that time was that once I get the standard paycheck every month to month, then I may or may not be able to come out of it. That was a
Ah.
fear also, or that was a decision conscious decision I took that I want to.
So the
And
salary may hold you back from getting into practice were your thoughts. So one
correct.
thing is getting into the practice, like you said about how you got into it. But once you get in, there are different challenges, like you said, visibility, or there's no network, and there's absolutely when anyone starts, you have zero clients. So how did you make the transition from zero clients, and how did you get your first client? What was that experience? And the initial years of practice, if you could share your thoughts.
Sure. Actually, when I started in Mumbai, before me, there was another lady company secretary, Jayashree Ben Dagli. She's still there, and she was like our mentor or role model.
Mhm.
On the Sydenham College, always her one post was there that she is looking for some article. So we used to
Okay.
see always Jayashree Dagli's one. Yeah, I'm on her letterhead, and I used to praise her that on her letterhead, it's so lovely that to see somebody is doing independently. That was a kind of that there are some people who are ahead of us and we can do it. They have done, we can also do. That was the first thing. Then during my exam also during my training period, I showed a lot of dedication to my work, and always your trainer or your mentor sometimes give you the first break. So my trainees office was in the South Mumbai. I was staying in the middle of Mumbai at Andheri, and it was in the Fort area. So my sir had one first assignment for post public issue handling, and I handle public issues. So it is at Kandivali in the north direction of Mumbai. So he casually asked me, Amita, would you love to do that on very nominal remuneration? I said, yeah, sir, I won't mind. At least I will learn something and I'll keep myself occupied. So I took up that assignment from sir. And obviously, I completed in 3 months all post public issue assignment. It was very much manual travel and emails were not there. So you can understand running around between the registrars and the merchant banker's office to the client's office. But yeah, I could complete in 3 months' time. Then again, the second opportunity, that company referred me to some another company of their group company, family company, and that's how the mouth publicity, or you can say referral, started. And I was fortunate that my age was also, I was not treated as very young because I was by 30, 31. That age actually worked in my favor. People took me very seriously, that she must be in practice. They thought she must be in practice for quite some time, though I was a fresher, but I was given respect like I'm an experienced person. And that attitude, I think my sincerity and courage or my attitude worked a lot all the time. Apart from the hard skill, of course the hard skill is required, but that worked a long way.
Yeah, I
And
think I can relate to what you're saying, ma'am. When you said about age, one of our classmates and friends from CS, he finished CS at the age of 40 and he got into practice. So on day one, everyone thought he was already 10, 15 years into the practice. So
correct.
something similar. Please
Yes,
go ahead, ma'am. Sorry to
yes.
stop you.
No, that's okay. So that and during my training, no, I even in this initial few, I think 3 4 months, I was just sitting idle, nothing, no work. And my all friends who are in SMTP, 35th SMTP, all are good, nice, big company. They are placed. They were getting the starting salary of 15,000 to 20,000. That point in time in 1995.
Yeah, that's a big number.
That's a big good number. And I was just wondering, am I doing some error? But then I thought, no, I took a decision. Let's stick to that and be consistent in what I'm doing. So I started writing all checklists. In fact, in between, one of our family member was in working in ENY. I went to meet him. I said, you just give me guidance. And he told me, do you want some referral? I said, no, I wanted to be a self-made person like my father. That was again my little, not in ego, but I want to be a independent person on my own, not through the referral of the family. So I denied that. And I said, you just give me one advice, what I should do. He told me a beautiful advice and I followed him very, very sincerely. He told me, during your time when you are not having any work, but you are in the office mode of your determination of being there and 10 to 6, start writing all checklists, resolutions, and start writing what you have not done during your training. In 12 months, we have not completed all the learning. So obviously there are a lot of things I had to learn. So that my learning started. I open all my whatever books, and Alok, it was a very costly book. Ramaya was very costly. We could not afford.
Yeah.
There are many other books, but I used to borrow, take Xerox from library. That was the time when the Xeroxing also was sometimes we could not afford also.
Yeah.
So then also I used to take some, I started writing on my own about all assignment which I have not done. I started writing article, and uh, my writing habit started from therein, starting all checklists, resolution, a functionality, processes in Excel. That time Excel was also not that. Actually, I was doing manually also in my book, and that was my all assignment. And then the reference started coming, and then I have never looked back for my time which is free to do such kind of research or doing something. So that's the first thing which everybody should do
Oh,
when they start the practice. And
okay.
how I grew also, I'll tell you. During my initial period, I started in 95, and
Correct.
1993 Manmohan Singh opened the economy,
Correct.
and the Reserve Bank of India was, I mean, foreign exchange management, it was still FERA regime, and it is a transition period from FERA to FEMA. And during 95 to 99, it was like for me only the opportunity just opened up. I took it in such a way that that was the point when I started, and I got the first assignment from software companies, and setting up subsidiaries abroad, getting foreign money, ECB, lot of things. And being Mumbai is a central office in FDI, FED, that is Foreign Exchange Department, ODI, overseas direct investment, FDI, which is a foreign direct investment. So a lot of inbound, outbound transaction during that time I had handled, which gave me a lot of confidence. And Citibank was one of the, the bank which is asking for the review or document sending, and that helped me a lot during my initial period. And RBI was very welcoming for a company secretary. Forget about a lady or a male. They were not happy somehow for a chartered accountant. In that period, something has happened. The incident was not good. So they were welcoming that you take and we will give you all support. So Reserve Bank was a, wonderful department where I loved working with them. And second thing I found, there is a lot of gap between a lawyer and a solicitor. We should never compete with the chartered accountant. Their domain is completely different. Lawyer and a solicitor, maybe we can, there are a gap because solicitors, uh, uh, I think the fees are very much on a higher side. Some small clients may or may not afford. Advocates, they do not understand the Companies Act the way a company secretary understand. And so
Exactly.
I found there is a gap when my client wanted to have any kind of a small agreement, even lease agreement or the employment agreement, MD agreement, or a small drafting of a show cause notice reply. I found they are struggling and they could not. So I once requested, can I handle, and just I will help you out with no nothing. I never chase. I'll honestly uh, give this that I have never followed for the particular set of fees and anything. I wanted to learn and I wanted to see, am I delivering properly as per the requirement. That helped me also, and I started getting a lot of work for the various kind of agreements. Then also, I think till today there is a lot of gap between lawyers' work and the solicitors' work for a SME. Do not target only those listed company, which may be 7,500 companies out of total 12 lakh active companies. So
Correct.
why we should follow up only listed company? We can always target. A lot of gaps are there. You fill the gap and find out your niche area and start delivering more. Then the work will
So
flow.
just listening to you, what is very clear is that if you are ready and if you are able to work, opportunities will come. Because I'm sure when you're studying, that time we really did not know how the Indian economy will open, or even if it opens, how the foreign software companies will come. We didn't know this, but it was because you were ready, the opportunity met with the readiness of your knowledge, and it was a perfect marriage for you to prosper in the practice. So, ma'am, what are some of the things?
Again, there are a lot of opportunities after that. My
Yeah.
career, if I see my career 25 years, I started and grew in FERA and FEMA regime. Then immediately after that, the gap between a lawyer and a solicitor of drafting work. Then
Yes.
Companies Act 2013 came. Now CSR. Then in between insolvency professional. Tomorrow there may be a SEBI new code. Then labor laws. A lot of areas are open for us. So
Exactly.
I think it is our mind which should be open. So during lockdown, I always keep telling my trainees that lockdown, our movement is lockdown, our mind is not lockdown. You keep exploring whatever you know and you like.